Let's talk about Relic Accessories, and with Vicus coming soon, you want to start making your plan on how you're gonna go for your Relic Accessories. So, I'm trying to approach that 5-3 build or maybe higher, like the 5-3 and then a level 1. Alright, so with a 5-3 build, depending on how we want to go for it, there's two approaches for it, right? So there's the first approach, which I don't recommend, but I'll say it anyways, is the one approach that you go for with two legendary books that are level 12. So you go with two legendary books that are level 12. So like if you go with two legendary books that are level 12, that will give you 12-12, and then you'll need only 3-3, which make it 15. So that's two engravings, right? And then you're gonna have a 5-5-5, which will give you another 15. So remaining with that, you're gonna have a 3, a 5-3, and then a 5-3. So with that stone, that stone will need a 7, which go with the 5-3, that will make you an 8. So that's like the 15. You can, right? So that's gonna be one. And then you're gonna have a 5-3, which is another 8, and then a 3 remaining. So that's 11. So the stone can go 4. So you can go 7-4 stone with the 12-12 books. That's one way. And then that same belt changes depending on the stone. If the stone goes 8-5, then the items that you're getting here can drop by ones. Alright, which will change the whole build and make it a lot cheaper. Alright, now let's talk about the other build, which I highly recommend, which is the 7-7 build. So you go for a 7-7 stone or higher. That will make your build a lot cheaper. So to make this build, so if you go over the 7-7 stone, it's gonna be the same idea, the same distribution last time, but the difference is that you're gonna have one of the books is gonna stay at level 9. All right, so let's talk about how this is gonna be a lot cheaper. So the first thing in this build that you want is the stone has to be grudge and then something cheap. I'm using grudge because it's the most expensive thing, so I want to make it almost cost nothing in your build, right? Since the grudge works on every class and it's the most expensive engraving in the game, so we'll make it grudge and then something on the lower end, right? And then going for a 7-7 with a relic stone is not that difficult if you try a lot, because you will try a lot, because that stone won't be expensive. It will be almost nothing. You're only paying the field cost. So the Fion is like 9, and then the stone is gonna be 40 gold a piece. Same thing goes for all of the like known engravings, like something like barricade, ether predator, increase math, find whatever you need, right? Because if you go for something expensive, that will make your build so expensive. And I'll talk for two things. The first reason, if you go for like something like keen plan, right, you're gonna pay a lot in this stone, right? If you go for something like one, I'm telling you, you're not only that you're gonna make this stone almost cost nothing. It's just gonna depend on how many times you're gonna try. Because if the stone is 7-7, you're gonna need two items to go 5-3 and 5-3. So like 5 from one item and 3 from here, and then 5 from here, and then the 3 from here. So these two items will cost almost nothing too, because you're gonna need something that works with the same idea that you just made. So like I need a 5-3 grudge barricade, right? So like if I switch this to like barricade here, and then switch this to grudge, for example, grudge, and then like call a 3, and then call, like, let's say, what do you play, specialization, go for rings. The rings now cost thousands of gold instead of 10,000. And if I even switch it to 3 and then 5, which is the other item you're gonna need, it's gonna be even cheaper. But if you go for the other build, which is the grudge keen plant on your stone, you just switch the way that you went for it, right? The keen plant, that's gonna just drop like numbers that are gonna be too yellow. It's just too much, right? So that's the idea, right? And then there's another thing. If this stone somehow reaches anything higher than a 7-7, so like if you hit 8-7, for example, 8 grudge and then 7, that makes the build a lot better. Like you cannot imagine how much, because you're going up for a 4 for an 8-7. That will change the idea that you need a 5-3 into a 4-3. So right now you need a grudge 4. So now that makes the build a lot cheaper, because you're gonna go for the 4. If you like, you just saw how much expensive it was, right, for a 5-3, right? But if you change it a little bit, because here, so let's go for the same thing. So if I go for grudge here, and then we put keen plan, right, So this is how much it will cost if it's a 5-3 specialization. Let's go for the rings, and it just almost get the cheapest. This is the cheapest one, which is 5,000. And then, but if I go for this, boom, became 200. That's the idea. Because of that, you, instead of going for the grudge and the grudge and the barricade together to make it cheaper, you can now spread them, and that will make 2 items. Instead of having 2 items in your build that almost cost nothing, it will make you have 3 items. All right. So that's basically the way that you're gonna make your build a lot cheaper. All right. And with the same thing with the stone, and if it goes like 8-8, then same thing, and then continue the idea when it goes like, if it goes 9-7, you wouldn't go, you don't wanna go like it, you don't wanna go for like another level 1. You wanna make it a lot cheaper. All right. So that's the first part, which will make you 3 items. Now let's talk about the second part, which is gonna be your class engraving. Right. Your class engraving, or whatever engraving you're gonna run in your build, you're gonna need a 9, and that 9 will need so it will need 2 3s, so that's 9, and then it will need a 3 and then a 3, so 6, and then another 12 will need 1 3. So if you go for a book that is like on the higher expense, so that will make the book so much expensive. I would highly recommend to go for a book like Aether. I would highly recommend Aether for everyone that is playing DPS. That book will only cost you 25 gold to buy it, so like only 500 to buy it. It's a good book. It works on all classes. It's really cool. It makes your experience better because you're gonna, after a few minutes of gameplay, you're gonna have a good set of the same DPS that you get from anything, but you get a bonus of 30 defense percentage. It's great, and if you have something like that, that will all make another item. So if you get this book, right, that will make another item even almost cost nothing. So right now I have, with the stone, which costs nothing, you get 2 items, and then with the book that you get 1 item, so you're only gonna pay for 2 items. And if you get an 8-7, that will increase 1 item, and if you go for like let's say 8-8, that will increase a little bit more. Right, it's just that goes with the same cycle of increasing the prices, decreasing the prices. So you're gonna go for the highest thing, which is the grudge, you're gonna go here, and then the lower stuff, right? And that's like ultimately how you're gonna make your build. So the build revolves around one thing, which is the stone, and then after that the book is an added bonus. If you have the money to save up for the book, you can do that, but personally I don't recommend this. Reasons for that is that right now the books are way expensive than they kinda should be, because we will get more books. Like looking at the market and how the books prices are, epic books were like so expensive, then they drop. Same thing goes for the legendary books. They at least will drop a bit from this price. So until they drop, there is no point. Like when they drop, maybe then you can switch one item. You're gonna switch that one item for something else. Maybe then it will be fine, but right now it's too expensive to not do that. And with this idea, you're gonna have 3 engravings of your choice. The most expensive ones, you're gonna have like grudge keen plant, for example, or like grudge curse doll. That's like 2 things that people run: grudge curse doll, grudge whatever, and then you're gonna usually have your class engraving on level 3 or level 1, or separated the way you want it. And then you're gonna have 2 engravings of the lesser known ones, which will make your whole build this almost nothing. So like I paid for each of these pieces that I bought like less than 1,000. In the same time, when people buy it for 100, 10,000, 20,000, and just know that right now when you do this build early on, you're gonna there is 2 things that's gonna happen. Your build is gonna almost cost nothing, and then you can already play around with the quality. Like right now, I look on this item every day. I see the item I need. I could buy it right now because it's not that expensive, and I could always look for a newer item if someone puts something that I need for the good quality. And then the random effects, I can also get the negatives to be nothing that will hurt me, right? So that's basically it. I think the only drawback that you might come from going this build is that it might take you a bit more time to make this build, because these lesser known engravings are not as common as the other ones, because people like, they know they don't sell for a lot, so they might not even put it on the market. Maybe that's one drawback. But you're saving like almost hundreds of thousands of gold instead of paying full price for the same build or for even a worse build. And just to wrap this build, wrap this, having these other engravings, I highly recommend them. They make the game feel really cool. They are already good. You don't have to you don't have to always play with like the same like known build. You can just try something yourself and maybe try it. And you can already try it and just throw the build away. I mean, how much it costs you? You're only paying the fions. Like you're gonna pay like the 100 fions for like 4 pieces, which is like 8,000, 7,000 gold. Just you spend 7,000 gold and that's it, you throw, instead of like spending 7,000 gold again on a different build like the expensive one. You're spending the same amount of units as the 7,000, but at a bonus you're spending like 100k for each piece, like 100k, like 20k for each piece or something. All right, so this is it. If you guys have any questions for this build or anything else, let me know down in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one. Goodbye.